Have you been struggling or even being embarrassed by problems that you may have with peeing in your pants, or even more problems that come with having weakened pelvic floor muscles? If you have heard of Kegels or Kegel exercises and have been looking for some good information on them so that you can actually benefit from them, in the areas of stopping the peeing in your pants, improving sensation or tightening and strengthening your lady parts naturally, without a single doctor's visit, this brief video review is for you. This video will be a brief review of the featured V-Core Lift program for Kegel exercises and pelvic floor strengthening. Now, there are links below in the video description. If at any time you would like to go straight to the official webpage that you see on your screen, just click on those links provided below in the video description, so that you may see the featured V-Core Lift program for Kegel exercises and pelvic floor strengthening information more in depth, or follow along with me in this video, if you choose to do so. Now, when you click on the links provided below in the video description, you will arrive on the page that you see right here. We will briefly go over and touch on just a few of the main points of the page, points that we believe would be of most interest to you. So, when you get to the page that you see right here on your screen, you can see that the featured program is said to contain information that will help you to discover the truth about Kegels so you can stop peeing your pants, improve sensation, and also strengthen and tighten your lady parts. And as you can briefly see right here, it says that these benefits can happen without a single doctor's visit. Just briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll. Now, as we can see here, there is a video presentation that is featured on the official page that you see on your screen that will show more information, and give you a better picture of what the featured program may have in store for you and how you may be able to benefit from it. Also, you can briefly see here, the places where the program has been featured. Just briefly take a look, as we briefly scroll through here. You can take a look at more of the information in depth, when you click on the links provided below in the video description that will take you to the official webpage that you see on your screen. So now, as we briefly scroll here, we understand that there are a few stories that are presented on the official page here, that you can get to by clicking on the links below in the description. One of the stories that we want to touch here, is the one here that you see, which explains how Isa Herrera, MSPT, CSCS, who is a licensed pelvic physical therapist. And for the last 15 years, she has personally helped over 14,000 women resolve their symptoms naturally, in her NYC Madison Avenue clinic. Now, take a brief look, we briefly scroll. The point that we want to touch on here, is that it is said that her mission is to help 1 million women heal from pelvic floor dysfunction and to help women discover a truth that's been held back, and that truth is said to be that the pelvic floor muscles are a set of muscles that women do have control over, and women can bring them back to health using natural methods and exercise. You can briefly take a look at more here, as we briefly scroll through. Now, another thing that we want to briefly touch on, is the portion of the page that deals with busting what are said to be 3 myths about Kegels, and these are said to be myths that your doctor doesn't even know. Now, you can briefly take a look, as we just briefly touch on each one. Kegel myth number 1, is said to be that squeezing what are called the downer muscles is enough. Just briefly take a look, as we briefly scroll through the explanations here. Kegel myth number 2, is said to deal with that it is said that there is only one type of Kegel. Just briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll through the explanation of this one as well. Kegel myth number 3, is said to deal with that it is said that Kegels are just for the pelvic floor. Just briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll through the explanation of this one as well. Now, here at this portion of the page, you can take a look at what are said to be true success stories from real women who've solved their lady parts and leaking problems, using the featured program. Just briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll. Once again, you can take a look at these details more in depth, when you just click on the links provided below in the video description, so that you can visit the official webpage that you see right here on your screen, and go over these specific areas carefully. So now, as you can see here, the featured V-Core Lift program. The featured program is said to have been created for all the women out there who know that they need a stronger, healthier pelvic floor, but they're not sure how to get there. It is said to be based on what is called the STARR system, which is said to be the creator's signature method to learning how to trust your body again, figure out what's really going on down there, and practice the key exercises that will help you see rapid improvement with just 5 minutes a day. Just briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll through. Now, you can also see here, that it is said that 22,000 plus women have found relief with the featured system, and you can briefly take a look here at the different modules that are said to be contained within the featured program. Just briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll through. Briefly take note that the featured program is said to help radically redefine your pelvic health and reclaim your pelvic power, and that you are said to get instant access with your purchase. Just briefly take a look, as we briefly scroll through. Now, as you can see here, there is said to be a 100%, 60-day, money-back guarantee that is said to come with your purchase of the featured program. You can briefly take a look here, as we briefly scroll. Also, we want to just scroll down a little and briefly touch on the questions and answers, or the frequently asked questions portion of the page, which shows some of the concerns that people have and how those concerns are addressed. Just briefly take a look here, as we scroll through these here, in this portion of our brief video. Don't forget to click on those links below in the video description to go to the official web page that you see on the screen, so that you may see all of the information in more depth. Now, make sure that when you get to the official web page that you see on your screen, by clicking on the links below in the video description, that you pay particular attention to the video that is featured right at the top of the page, to give you a better picture of what the featured program may be able to do for you. Also, do not forget the 100%, 60-day, money-back guarantee that is said to come with your purchase of the featured program. As you can see here, as we briefly scroll. Once again, we would like to thank you for watching our brief video review. If you have found that the information presented here in this video was helpful and insightful to you, be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button. Remember to click on the links below in the video description to go to the official web page that you see in this video to get more information and see more, if you decide to choose the featured V-Core Lift program for Kegel exercises and pelvic floor strengthening.